Hello everybody, I'm Gleb and this is my 5G course on IoT Understanding channel. As for today, we're going to talk about 5G beamforming, and I want to make introductory video before we going to start such technologies as beamforming and MIMO. As you may already know, previous generations networks, they more cell-oriented networks. They were more sector-oriented networks with particular sectors and cells, with cell edge borders, with low signals and lots of interference in overlapped areas. And in such areas, marked as red color, in such areas there were low signal to noise plus interference ratio. This parameter is the fundamental parameter for any mobile communication systems, because if you have a relatively low SINR, your modulation scheme, your cancellation diagram will be too noisy, and the receiver will not properly decode and understand and decode the symbols on this cancellation diagram, and there are high probability for error, for missing messages. So the system in this case with low SINR, the system has to lower modulation. For example, from this 16 QAM modulation scheme, the system has to lower to QPSK, for example. And lower modulation is results in lower speed and lower throughput. And apart from that, low SINR, the useful signal level is all about latency. Actually, is all about latency because there are high probability again for error with low useful signal, and the system has to use more retransmission techniques to retransmit the same information one more time, and it results in latency. And as you may already know, 5G is all about speed latency. So in 5G we have to use another concept of network in order to make the performance of the whole network better. So what we can do in traditional networks, we can, for example, deploy base station and sectors in a very precise manner to build these base stations in that way that will mitigate such areas, that will lower probability of such areas. So what we can do, either we can use a remote sector. We can, for example, sectorize our base station to put one more sector here and use a remote sector in order to gain signal quality on cell edges. But again, this is not very common solution. Not every time you can do that in a real network environment. What else we can do? We can optimize our network. Actually, when it comes to big cities networks, on a daily basis, manually by engineers or automatically by self-optimized network features, cell sector antenna tilts, they can be adjusted to kind of shift this area in a less user probability place. So the main optimization aim is not to completely get rid of that place with high interference. Yes, the main optimization aim is to shift this area to from hotspots, from vulnerable users, from buildings, to less dense areas. And by that reason we can tilt our antennas manually or automatically, as I've already said. Or the third solution actually is to forget about this sector-oriented network and to use massive array antennas with multiple beams that will serve our areas, and it will be the completely game-changing solution, and it will lower the probability of such areas in many times. But we will talk about beamforming techniques in my next videos. So if you like this short introduction about modern problems in previous generations network, about cell edge borders and signal-to-noise interference, and about the reasons of using beamforming in 5G. If you like it, you can subscribe for my next videos. So stand by with Understanding IoT channel. Goodbye.